All right, guys, so today I'm going to go over how I clean up my cameras after a dusty shoot. So this whole camera here, this is my FX3. I was using it for B-roll as a shoulder rig, handheld rig in really dusty conditions in the panhandle of Texas. So I'm going to show you how I kind of clean this up. One of the big important things that I emphasize with people: don't be doing a lot of lens swaps. Use a zoom when you can in scenarios like that. You have a lot more range, but you're going to have issues with dust if you're removing the lens constantly, getting on your sensor, and we want to reduce that. So I always recommend keeping everything how it is, and if possible, wait to clean stuff until you're in a clean environment or when everything is done. You know, keep the lens elements clear of dust, but don't be out there using lens wipes constantly. So here's my setup here. I have a few tools that I like to use when cleaning my cameras after a dusty shoot, and I'll show you how bad the dust is. It kind of doesn't look bad here at the moment, but we'll get in a little bit closer. First thing is a duster. This is made by Gideos, and it's a really good brand. Do not buy the off-brand ones, and it's a blower. You squeeze it and it blows. It's not high pressure air, so you don't have to worry about it getting forced, dust or dirt getting forced into places you don't want it. The next thing is a detailing brush, and this is very easily found. I'll have links to everything in the description below so you can see, but these are really inexpensive, big brushes, and they work really good to remove dust from big surfaces, and their bristles aren't too aggressive. Then I have just a little bottle of alcohol. It's 91% isopropylene alcohol. Let me get that in focus. There we go. And this is what I use for little tough spots that, you know, may have a little bit of gunk on them, and I could pinpoint them with this. And then I'll follow up with a Q-tip. And these are wooden Q-tips. So I have a little more strength on them, and I could reach into, you know, deeper places with them and have a lot more strength and control. So these are really good to use. Get a little alcohol on them if you need. Also, in tight to reach spots, a toothpick, just a regular toothpick, will help get gunk out of those hard to reach places. I have a little brush here, and this little brush actually is hollowed out because it attaches to a vacuum. And then I run these guys, which are my favorite go-to, which are the lens cleaning wipes from Zeiss. They're amazing. I don't use lens cloths. I use these guys. One-time use and I throw it away. One-time use, throw it away. And I keep a ton of these on hand. So I'll show you how I use those. And then the last tool, the most important thing of all, is I have a little vacuum kit with a hose. And this connects to my Milwaukee battery-powered vacuum. And this is really important, a really important step, because when we're cleaning here, instead of blowing stuff in and forcing it into the camera, we're actually brushing it and removing it. So let's go ahead and get into a close-up on some of this stuff. We'll break it down. I'll explain what I'm cleaning, and you'll see the process happening. All right, now let's get to the camera. So the lens is attached. One of the big points that collects dust is right here in this area of the camera where the lens meets the mount and the camera, and then a lot of the little corners and crevices will end up getting a lot of dust and dirt, so you've really got to look for it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't want to separate yet. I'm going to vacuum out this area first, or dust it. So let's hit it with the duster first, and it's going to be right here in this area that has the most dust and grime. See, I almost missed this step, because if I would have opened it up now with all that dust around, it would have more than likely just magnetized and went into the sensor. So I'm going to clean up everything we can in this area, get it as tidy as we can before separating the lens. All right, so I think that's good. I'm gonna have my lens cap and body cap ready. Something that's really important is keep the inside of these guys clean. If you don't keep those clean, you're gonna have dirt working their way in, and I always keep them together when I'm not using them, because I don't want dirt and grime to tract into the middle. So separate it like Oreo cookies. Click this guy open. Done. Sensor is more important than my lens, in my opinion, and then I go for the lens and block it off. Lens is going to go off to the side, out of the way, and then we could finish cleaning up. And I could actually see where there's a lot of grime right there. You see where it says full frame down there? That's actually dust and grime that's kind of worked its way into those spots. And then you've just got to kind of work your way around the camera, and you'll eventually see that there's a lot of dust, and you want to get all that cleared up and cleaned up. So we're going to go for the vacuum this time, but let's give a duster a try first. Get anything we can knock loose. I know not everyone can have a vacuum, so like I said, the detailing brush is really good, but I'm going to go for the vacuum method because it does just a little bit better. So there it is. So let's see if we got that cleaned up in there. Yep, that looks a lot better in there. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this guy up and see what damage we have in here. Our sensor is nice and clean. We do have a little bit of a rub mark right here. See a little bit of gunk right there, and that's just dirt that got rubbed into that spot. So I'm going to take a wipe, and I'm going to do this fairly quickly, and I am going to just work that one little area. And what I'm going to use is a wipe and a Q-tip. So now you could do a little bit of alcohol in there if you want, but I'm going to go here and I'm going to get that spot, clean that up. Let's make sure there's no gunk and grime here. And then the sensor's nice and clean, so you could actually see the grime that was picked up. Let's see if we catch focus. See that right there? That was right there on there. So, you know, wiping that off can help a lot. If you're not having issues with your contact points, leave them alone. Don't get in there and start digging around too much. But wiping that down did help, and now you can see, which I hate having my sensor open, but there's no dust or dirt on it. And when you do clean this, point it down and hit it with the duster. Point it down, hit it with the duster. So that's clean. I still have this. I could kind of go in here, wipe things down around this edge. It'll probably pick up some more junk as it did. Let's see if we can get focus. Just a little bit of gunk. Now I'm going to go to the back, and what I'm going to do is I am going to clean up in here because that's where the screen shuts, and I'm going to go in there and get the edges with this, and then I'm going to look at the screen. I'm going to get a fresh wipe. I'm going to get the duster and give it a little bit of a dust, and then I'm going to work my way from the middle and go outward and wipe this guy off nice and clean, and it looks amazing. There's the camera hanging down right there, and then I can use this to wipe this off nice and clean. And you could use these wipes on the body, give it a little bit of a sheen and a shine, and that's it. This camera is cleaned up. This does work if you're a lot gunkier as well and a lot bigger of a mess happened. Please baby your equipment. It will last you a lot longer. Now we move on to the lens that could be very gunky. Let's check it out. So I'm going to start with the easy part of the lens, or the back, before we get to the front element. So let's check how dirty it is. Should be fairly clean. Like I said, I don't like to gunk them up too much, and then hit them with the duster. Upside down is better because it doesn't lodge stuff in, so you want to hold it like this and then dust it, inspect it visually. It's nice and clean. I know I have the caps, which are nice and clean. attach that. Oh, actually we're a little bit dirty. So I'm going to take the Q-tip that I had, and you can see there's a little bit of dirt right there in that spot. So I'm going to take care of it. Make sure this is nice and clean. Because if you get dirt and grime here and you're connecting it to the camera, you're going to scratch it. So that's cleaned up. All right, the next step is we are going to clean the outside. So I'm going to use the same methods as I've been using. I'm going to open this guy up, make it where it's zoomed in. All right, and then we're going to hit it with the duster. You will lose hairs off of the brush. Nothing to lose sleep over. I look at these as a expendable, a disposable commodity type of thing, where if I have to get new brushes every once in a while, then I get new brushes every once in a while. Okay, so it's nice and cleaned up on the outside. I'm going to look inside here. A lot of times right here is where you'll get some buildup. I'll use that same wipe that I have. It's still a little moist, and get in there and clean out any dirt that I may have with the Q-tip as well. And actually, there's quite a bit. You can see there. All right, so now we take off our lens cap. This is a Peter McKinnon variable in D, and it's got some gunk on it. So this got dirty too, so I'm going to clean this right up. I'm going to still use this little wipe that I have here. Now, these wipes I've already opened up and used. They're not too funky, so I'm going to just put a little bit of alcohol in here, since it's just the rubber, and I'm going to get it cleaned up. This could also just be washed with warm water and some Dawn or something like that if you want. But remember, I like to keep these clean because these go on your lens every time and can attract dirt. So that's nice and clean now. The alcohol will dry off. This set is trash. So now I have to deal with this. So how am I going to clean this? So I'm going to go with the method that I use. It could be different from the method you use. It looks like we may have gotten a little bit of a scratch on this. It happens. But yeah, let's clean this up. So first off, I'm going to hit it with the duster. Let me show you the dirt on it, if you could see it. There you go. You could see it right there. So I'm going to hit it with the duster, remove everything I possibly can. And this actually is doing a great job. So I just will stick with the duster. Like I said, the vacuum is for extreme conditions. Don't use it because the bristles on it may not be soft enough to prevent your lens from scratching. So that looks fairly clean, but I'm going to hit it with the lens wipe. And that's it right there. Let's get this in the center. And I'm going to show you exactly how I get it done. So this is opened up. I'm going to fan it off, and then I'm going to work my way from the middle to the outside. So here we go. From the middle, I'm going to do clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever you prefer. Work your way out. Going to flip it. And then I'm going to get the edge. Then, see, there's that little bitty scratch right there. Or it could be a smudge. I'm going to work it. See if we can get that out. It's a tiny, tiny scratch. That is a judgment call on you if you want to replace that or not. If you replace these filters every time there's a minute scratch on it, you'd probably go bankrupt pretty quick. So I'm putting this guy here, putting it in the lid, and I'm going to show you guys a cool little trick because I used a step down ring. Let's get that in focus. There we go. Is it in focus? There we go. So I used a step down ring. So this is a 82 millimeter, and I used a 77 to 82 millimeter filter, step down filter. Now a lot of times you want to get, like this one's brass, you don't want to get like aluminum and aluminum and then put them together because they could fuse together. If it's different materials, they don't like to stick together. That's why you can't weld aluminum to brass. You don't really weld brass, but kind of get my point. You don't weld aluminum to steel. It doesn't work that way. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to separate these two, and I actually have the tools to do that. So here are the lens wrenches, and I go for the two biggest sizes I have. These are a little bit smaller, so we'll put those off to the side. And the way that it works is one attaches to the filter, one attaches to the step down ring. So this one I'm going for the filter first. I'm going to show you how it's attached here, and you can see it's holding it. And the important thing is these are really skinny. So then the other one goes to the ring itself. So the step up, step down ring. So I'm gonna have to do this awkwardly, but if you have them both here, one is here. So this one that I'm holding here is for the Peter McKinnon ND, and this one here is for the ring. So now it's spinning freely because it's spinning the ND, and we reached a stopping point. So I'm holding this down, and let's see what we can do. There we go. There we go. It just popped. So it went like that, and it's off now. We've separated. The important thing, the biggest issue with people trying to get rings off is you end up putting pressure on just a couple points. So you're like grabbing it like this, and you have 3 points of contact where you're squeezing down and it's not evenly spaced. Here, we're evenly spaced. So when you put pressure on it, it spreads it out evenly and helps you separate it. This is an amazing tool. And you could actually use this to help you clean your filters. You could hold on to your filters now, and you could clean them without getting your grubby fingers on them and stuff like that. But we've got the front cleaned up fairly well, and now we're going to move on to the back portion. I took off the ring because it was kind of in the space there. So let's take a look at this guy. It's got a little bit of dust on him. Let's dust it off. I'm using the cap of the lens to hold it in place. We're done with these wrenches. Toss them over here. And now we use a clean lens wipe. Again, here's the thing, guys. If I were to use the same wipe that I used to clean this, that, everything, and you're just bringing it over here and it's one of those microfiber cloth ones, you're just creating sandpaper. It's not good for it. I mean, you might as well take this, drag it through the sand, and then go to your lens with that. Whoever uses those lens wipes repeatedly and hands you one and say, hey, here, use this. It's like getting a used handkerchief. It's like, oh, here you go. Here's some of my snot. Enjoy. Oh, it's dry and crusty now, so it should be fine. It's not a good idea. And I don't know why people do it. So one-time use wipes, my favorite. So go here, and then work it out, and then go to that edge and get it cleared out. And now it's nice and clean. Now I know a lot of people use the Kim wipes, and I'm going to get this out of the way and put it in its case. I know a lot of people use the Kim wipes. They have like boxes, and it's the same kind of material, and then they apply their solution to it. Those are great, or they just do them dry. Now here's the problem that I often see. They have these Kim wipe, wipes, and they have a box just sitting open on set that they use that's not sealed, and it's getting dust and debris and collecting it. These are sealed. Until you open it, it's sealed up and it's protected inside here, and it's not, you know, getting dirt and grime. As soon as you open one of those boxes, you're getting materials and stuff in it if it's not sealed up after every single use. And even using them, you know, and sealing them up after you open it, that's just constant exposure and contamination that you're allowing to come into it. So I don't like that. All right, now we move on to the lens. And this is the thing, guys, with lenses, I don't like to clean them too often. And it sounds weird, but I don't want to damage my lenses. So I'm gonna get the duster, blow it clean. Honestly, there's just a couple itty bitty spots here. There's one right about there. So I'll get it cleaned up. Let me get another Zeiss wipe. And it's going to get cleaned up. So again, this one's a little more moist, so I've got to let it dry out a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to work my way from the middle. Awesome. Now another method, if it's really gunky, you could just dab, 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 and try to pick up those spots. And work those little spots if needed. Sometimes you have scratches you can't remove. And that happens over time. Lenses get damaged over time. These newer lenses, compared to what we used to have, are a lot different. And you can really put them through the ringer and they'll hold up really well. Another place that dust likes to collect is right over here where the lens cap or lens hood connects. Check that area for dust, give it a dusting, and you're good to go. So this one's set. I'm gonna put its cap on and stow it away. I double check my caps to make sure they're clean. This one's nice and clean. That one's done. So just takes a little bit of gunk to make things happen, to get things cleaned up and looking nice. But in the end, if you take care of your gear, it'll last you a really long time. Having the right tools to clean stuff up is also beneficial. And in the end, it helps you be successful on set. I always recommend carry these in every single bag you have. I carry them on pretty much every case. I have them on my grip van, and they're a lifesaver. The only other thing that I may use more of than those wipes, actually equally, is the oil absorbing sheets, because they are amazing for talent to get that sheen off their skin. And these are one of the most popular things that I recommend because they're inexpensive and they get the job done really well. So you order a bunch of these and a bunch of these, and you have a great kit to keep you clean on set and then keep your interviews and talent looking fresh. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you on the next one.